Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. It is a 3 mana 2/2 and she gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control. You can pay a Wooburg combination of mana to search your library for a legendary permanent card with converted mana cost less than Sisay's power, put that card onto the battlefield and then shuffle your library. This powerful tutor effect in your command zone lets you search anything that you need for the current situation and lets you also work towards winning the game really quickly. I have built this deck to be a Legends beatdown deck, which focuses a lot on a lot of aggressive legendary creatures, which we will use to win the game. But due to the fact that we are also in 5 colors, we also use all of the best spells from all different kinds of colors to protect our game plan. Legendaries that we would like to cheat out or also hardcast are, for example, Samut, Voice of Dissent, a 5 mana free for with Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance and Haste, and other creatures you control have haste. Furthermore, you can also pay 1 mana and tap it to untap another target creature. We also play Shanit, Sleeper's Scourge, a 4 mana 2/4 with Menace, and other legendary creatures you control have Menace. You can already see that a lot of our legendary creatures Anthem up our other legendary creatures, so we assemble a powerful army of legends. Furthermore, whenever you play a legendary land or cast a legendary spell, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. One of the most powerful Anthem effects in this deck comes from Joda the Unifier, a 5 mana 5/5, and legendary creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Furthermore, it has an inbuilt cascade mechanic, because whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. As I have said, we also want to protect our game plan, so we play cards like Kutziel, Malament Exemplar, a 3 mana 3/3, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. This might be devastating as you activate Sisay and your opponents don't know what's about to come, so you just bring out Kutziel, and as soon as it is on the battlefield your opponents are locked out from casting anything during your turn. Furthermore, whenever 1 or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. For even more protection we play Sigada, Font of Blessings, a 4 mana 4/4 with flying, and other permanents you control have hexproof. Furthermore, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast angel spells and human spells from the top of your library. Let's add another keyword. We play Ezeka, God of the Tree, a 3 mana 1/4 with Vigilance, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Furthermore, other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance, and you can tap them to add 1 mana of any color. Already its front side is really helpful in this deck, but we can also cast it for its backside, the Prismatic Bridge, a 5 mana legendary enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card, put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So far we have added a lot more keywords to our legendary creatures, and now we just want to anthem them up even more. So we play cards like Flowering of the White Tree, a 2 mana legendary enchantment, and legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. We also play Arvad the Cursed, a 5 mana 3/3 with Death Touch and Lifelink, and other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. For a repeatable and growing anthem effect we play Broker's Ascendancy, a 3 mana enchantment, and at the beginning of your end step put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. Another Joda anthem effect is Hero's Podium, a 5 mana legendary artifact, and each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature you control. You can also pay X into its activated ability and tap it, so you look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Due to us playing Broker's Ascendancy, we also want to profit from a few planeswalkers, so we play Dihada, Binder of Wills, a 4 mana 5 loyalty planeswalker, and her +2 mechanic says up to 1 target legendary creature gains Vigilance, Lifelink and Indestructible until your next turn. Her -3 ability is really powerful because reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put any number of legendary cards from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You create a treasure token for each card put into your graveyard this way. Her -11 can be a game finisher because gain control of all non-land permanents until end of turn, untap them and they gain haste until end of turn. Another really powerful powerful Planeswalker is Nicol Bolas Dragon God, a 5 mana 4 loyalty Planeswalker, and it has all loyalty abilities of all other Planeswalkers on the battlefield. Its +1 mechanic says you draw a card and each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control. You can also -3 it to destroy target creature or Planeswalker, and its -8 says each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or Planeswalker loses the game. For even more protection we play Teferi Time Reveler, a 3 mana 4 loyalty Planeswalker, and each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. Its +1 mechanic says until your next turn you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, and its -3 says return up to 1 target artifact, creature or enchantment to its owner's hand and you draw a card. We play the best interaction spells from all different kinds of colors, so we play Fierce Guardianship, a 3 mana instant, and if you control a commander you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost and you counter target non-creature spell. One of the best removal spells in the game is Swords to Plowshares, a 1 mana instant, exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Your opponents might try to counter this one, so you make them an offer you can't refuse. A 1 mana instant, counter target non-creature spell, its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. You wanna take care of a nasty enchantment or artifact, so you play Nature's Claim, a 1 mana instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment and its controller gains 4 life. There might be a land that you need to get rid of, so you play Assassin's Trophy, a 2 mana instant, destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle. Need to get rid of a nasty creature with just 1 mana open, so you play Dismember, a 3 mana instant with 2 Phyrexian black pitches, target creature gets -5 until end of turn. And you want to win more? You get it. You play Bloom Tender, a 2 mana 1/1, and you can tap it for each color among permanents you control at 1 mana of that color. As soon as you have Woolburg enabled on the battlefield, this taps for 5 mana, which is a free Sisay activation, and if you also add a few untap mechanics, you can activate Sissy several times in a turn with this card. Just as Faeburrow Elder, a 3 mana 0/0 with Vigilance, and it gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. You can also tap it, so for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. Both of these mana dogs have the same effect, but especially in this deck it is really powerful, so I would say that these are a must play in this deck. Alright guys, these are a few cards that I would play in Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next. Make sure to check out my deck list in the notes below, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.